Cowboys training camp updates are sponsored by Kinzuri, the height-boosting shoes to help you in your dating game. 15% off over at kinzuri.com/chat. Here's what's coming up on today's fairly loaded Cowboys report, because football's back, baby. Bunch of Cowboys injury updates: Luke Schoonmaker, Israel Mukuamu, Donovan Wilson, fully no news. A couple different Cowboys training camp notes, and the latest on Trevon Diggs. First his injury, then at the end, a full breakdown of his contract from Dallas. So Diggs did not practice today for the Dallas Cowboys. He was out there in shorts and I think it was normal shoes, not cleats. Whatever it was, Mike McCarthy said he's fine. The team is likely just being ultra safe, but Jane Slater does report he's in with a toe injury. Apparently it is a sore toe. Did he stub it? Did he cut it? Did he do something weird to it? Who knows? But it is a sore toe for Trevon Diggs. Cowboys don't seem that concerned. I will make note, the Cowboys have a tendency to lie about injuries. I think they've downplayed the Luke Schoonmaker one. They said, oh, good for camp. Well, he's not. This does sound very minor, so really no major reason to freak out. The Nahshon Wright INT, nice play by Wright, we'll talk about, by the way. Diggs was giving him a pep talk before the play. He was right there along the sidelines, celebrated, ran around when the interception happened. So Diggs wasn't practicing, but he was out there. He wasn't getting treatment during the practice. So I'm not very concerned about the Trevon Diggs injury, maybe injuries in air quotes from that perspective. But I do want to make note of it as a issue as to why he wasn't out there today at Cowboys training camp. As for the other injuries, we now know Donovan Wilson going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a calf strain. That was kind of the buzz yesterday when we broke down the news initially. Now we know, per McCarthy, multiple week injury. He will miss some time. Not overly concerned about it. You know, Wilson was your leading tackler last season, 101 tackles. Put him on ice. Ideally, nothing happens. He wouldn't have missed any time, but put him on ice, bring him back for week 1. The defense is in really good shape that I'm not too concerned about it. Israel Mukuamu, meanwhile, will also miss multiple weeks. I wasn't too worried about this one. I think it ended up being a bit worse than I had initially thought. We didn't mention it yesterday because he was out there, but he came back, so I thought it was fine. Probably being cautious there. Maybe he plays in the preseason. Maybe he doesn't. Should be good to go, though, for week 1. I am a bit disappointed. This one's a bigger deal for me than Wilson because I didn't need to see Wilson play. Like, he's kind of an established player. I was hoping to see Izzy do some fun stuff and be a chess piece on defense. Now he's not going to get that opportunity. Could have had some more playing time with Wilson banged up, at least early on in camp. Now it doesn't materialize. So a bit disappointing there for Israel Mukuamu. We're going to break down who's going to step up with those guys banged up and Luke Schoonmaker. But first, just your general concern level over all the injuries so far. Not an ideal outcome, I suppose. What is your concern level? 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Go respond at the pinned comment, especially if the ad comes here on YouTube. So Wilson's banged up. Israel Mukwamu's banged up. Who becomes the third safety? The answer is, shout out Patrick Walker for telling us who subbed in for Wilson yesterday, Marquise Bell, the UDFA safety from last year who played a little bit for the Cowboys, was really just a roster stash. The Cowboys liked him, needed some more time to grow as an NFL player, and now has a decent chance to emerge as a piece, at least roster-wise, at safety. Meanwhile, at corner, look, Jordan Lewis is banged up. Mukwamu was getting some run at nickel. Now he's not. Deron Bland's still your number 1 nickel. Who's your backup nickel then? Well, now it becomes Kelvin Joseph. And Joseph has a chance to emerge in a pivotal offseason for him. Joseph has been a disappointment for the Cowboys. There's no way around it. He's now working on the inside. They've been giving Nahshon Wright, Eric Scott the reps on the outside cornerback spots over Kelvin Joseph. With Mukwamu now banged up, he has a chance to step up at that nickel corner spot. Speaking of stepping up, if you want to be a little bit taller, today's show is presented by Kinzuri. If you've ever wished you were a bit taller, maybe you matched on Tinder, but her profile says must be over 6 foot. Kinzuri is here to help you guys out. We've got Short Kings covered today. Kinzuri makes shoes that can make it 2.8 inches taller without anyone knowing. Girls get heels, makeup, push-up bras. Why can't men get a confidence boost too? Kinzuri shoes are not just height boosting, but also stylish and comfortable. They are not grandpa's Velcro shoes, but fashionable shoes that can receive compliments even without the height increase. The height insoles are built into the shoes, thus making it the ultimate height hack. For a limited time only, you guys get an extra 15% off your order at kinzuri.com/chat. The site is already 30% off. With our link, you get an additional 15. That's 45% off your entire order. Support the show and check them out at conzuri.com/chat. Life is short, but you don't have to be. Check the comment section and the description for Kinzuri. Wish we were talking Deuce Vaughn here because he is our short king for the Cowboys. We'll talk about him tomorrow. Instead, I am concerned about Luke Schoonmaker. Mike McCarthy asked if is there a timeline for Luke to come back from that plantar fascia issue he's got in his foot. Answer was no, which is not a good thing. Look, he is a rookie. You want him out there. I think Jalen Tolbert really struggled when he missed some time at the beginning of last year's OTA minicamp, training camp portion. Tight end is already a fairly tough adjustment period. You look historically at the level of position of when they kind of hit their peak. Tight ends later. It's later on than like backs, for example, hit it pretty much going right away. So I think we have to lower our expectations accordingly for Luke Schoonmaker. He's a great athlete. There's untapped potential. I don't know how much of it we will see in year one. That's why on the depth chart, got him down at tight end 3. Jake Ferguson's tight end 1. Peyton Hendershot is now tight end 2. Schoonmaker's there at the 3rd spot. I would love to be wrong and have him make a big-time impact for you, even if it's just later on in the season. But I am a little bit troubled by the slow start to his career. Not the end of his career overall, but we're talking for this year. I think the impact won't be what I'd hoped it was going to be. Who's tight end 1 now? Maybe put this up on community in the near future too. JF for Jake Ferguson, LS for Luke Schoonmaker, PH for Peyton Hendershot. Go vote for me in the comment section. A couple more training camp tidbits here. We'll go more in depth on these later on in the week too, by the way, when we get a little bit more time. Simi Fehoko, you saw the interception, I'm sure, yesterday. Dak Prescott throws it to Fehoko on a little slant flat concept, and right here, and bops it up in the air, and it's picked off, and that's the issue last year, right? Fehoko has not had his best stuff. He hasn't. Even in the drills today, kind of heard he was dealing with some drops. Those are issues he has to get sorted out as he fights for potentially wide receiver 4, but also just for a roster spot. Deshaun Wright, meanwhile, a good day for him. Eric Scott had the good first day. Deshaun Wright getting some run with the ones with Trevon Diggs out. He is the top backup on the outside right now. And he had a nice interception in coverage against Jalen Tolbert. The casuals won't realize it, but the reason why Wright made that play is because he physically beat Tolbert at the point of attack. He helped him get to the sideline, didn't let Tolbert get too far up the field inside to make the catch. Really good play by Deshaun Wright, got his head around. I want to see more of that moving forward. Meanwhile, this is not a fair matchup, but Micah Parsons absolutely smoked Chuma Adoga on back-to-back reps in the 2-minute drill. The offense had no chance. Dak did check it down to our small king, Deuce Vaughn, but that was a sack. There's no way around it. He beat him outside and inside on back-to-back reps. Really impressive from Micah, who, again, is one of the best defensive players in the NFL. We will have even more Cowboys training camp news, notes, takeaways, updates for you tomorrow and all throughout Cowboys camp. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Free videos, sometimes 4 times a day, as we had earlier this week, right here on the Cowboys Report. All right, Trevon Diggs contract details as promised here. Full numbers known, even the details deep into it. 5 years, $97 million, 19.4 average per year, by the way, $42.3 million guaranteed. That checks into about top 5 across the board, so a pretty, I think, fair deal on both sides. We now also know the contract structure. Remember, it's a 5-year deal with Diggs having 1 more year left on his contract. What that means is it's really a 6-year deal that checks in closer to like 104-ish, or not even 104, well, like 6 years, 103, with the way you're able to structure it, etc. Here are the cap hit details. 5.84 this year, dead money 33.84, so you can't move on after a year. Year 2, 16.25 million, still a bunch of dead cap. You'll notice that the numbers dip after 2024, with 2025 having a $2 million less cap hit. The reasoning is the Cowboys will take Diggs' 2024 salary and push it off into the future. They'll make it into a roster bonus or a signing bonus. They'll convert it, bring down the 2024 cap hit, create some extra flexibility, and then push money off into the future. That's why that 2028 year is also lower, because they'll push money off into the future as they need to. 2025, 14.25, 2026, that becomes where you can maybe get out of the deal if you need to, which you're not expecting to. Big money in 2027, 2028, when the salary cap is going to be just insanely stupid high. Now, the cap impact for this year, as we had predicted, right about $1 million in change. So not really a tangible impact there. Cap hit goes from 4.85 this year to 5.84. So very minimal change, and that's a rounding of $1 million right there. So shouldn't be any real issue there. Still plenty of money to pay Zach Martin, Dak Prescott, which would also kind of keep the cap hit pretty similar. Martin would get a probably higher cap hit. CeeDee Lamb will have a similar non-cap hit jump. So plenty of money still for the Dallas Cowboys. Now that we know the details, grade the Trevon Diggs deal for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Go vote in the comments section.